Okay, here's where I had problems with recently, and that's what said that I'm going to do the video on this one right here. Okay, this is kind of the brains right here for this old antique boiler. This is a hot water boiler, not a hot steam boiler. It's not a steam boiler, it's a hot water boiler. Okay, from the electric box, we have this right here, and there's actually a fuse in there. So this is the on and off switch for the whole system. This will shut the whole system down. Okay, then that comes in and ties into this switch relay. The switch relay, you see there's the originally one had 3. I started to drill it out to put the 3rd one on. Actually, I was just too lazy, so I never finished it. And then this is the actual transformer right here. This transformer comes from the when it goes from the the thermostat. I told you it goes to the aquastat. Then after the aquastat, it comes up and goes into the switch relay. Okay, switch relay goes out into the transformer, and the transformer actually sends power to the gas valve, but also back to the switch relay. Because what happens with this is this turns the gas valve on and the motor on. This switch right here in the top corner opens and closes when the aquastat says the water temperature is cold enough and it's sending power to the thermostat. That's what I found out. And how I found that out is I came home recently and the boiler sounded like it was on, and only the one radiator above the boiler was hot. All the rest were cold. So when I came down here, I says, well, if one is hot, that means the gas valve is working because it's heating up the water, but something's not spinning the water. I mean, the impeller's not spinning the water to circulate through the rest of the system. So I went to go check the motor, and the motor wasn't spinning. Now, don't go sticking your finger in that motor because that impeller will cut your finger off. Don't stick your finger in there. I went ahead and I checked. I came up here to the switch transformer, because this switch transformer right here turns on the water. That turns on the water pump. So that right there, I took a circuit tester, and with the circuit tester I put everything on, and I went to the pump and I put it around the end where the connection is, and I got no juice from the circuit tester. And it's just a little basic $7.99 circuit tester. So I came up here and I checked all these wires with the circuit tester, and they were all live until I checked this one right here, because this actually goes to the pump. So this one was not live, so the power to the pump was not live, therefore the pump wasn't getting electricity. So the motor might not have been bad, the switch relay might have been bad. So with the circuit tester, not with my fingers, because I want to get electric shock, so with the circuit tester I pushed in the switch relay, and as soon as I pushed in the switch relay, bam, the pump went on. So that's how I kind of troubleshot it to just that switch relay. Now, if your whole system's going if your whole system's on, you hear it running, but the gas didn't open up, then more likely it's your gas valve, and then you troubleshoot that all the way back to the switch relay. But don't use your fingers. Don't use just a wire hanger or nothing. I mean, get a circuit tester. Like I said, I had the little cheapy $7.99 one. I'll go ahead and show you. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit tired and under the weather showing you this, but I just felt that I needed to be shown that people how if they have their own hot water boiler. Like I said, this goes to the main power. If I shut this off, the whole system will shut down. This is the switch relay. See, it just shut off right now by itself. It just shut off right now by itself. So, and this is the transformer. And like I said, also what could another thing that can cause it to shut off. What shut down let me see. Yeah, it shuts down the whole system. It'll shut down the whole system. When it was on and it was hot, but no water was circulating, so much pressure built up by the aquastat right here that aquastat will shut your boiler off for you, so it doesn't get over the pressure, the amount of pressure, so it can start banging and everything. So the aquastat actually shut down my boiler also at the time that pump wasn't on, which was caused by the switch relay actually being out. So the crazy thing is when I pushed in the switch relay with the circuit tester, that pump went on and started circulating, and then as soon as it moved the water, it went back, turned my boiler system back on, because it put cold water back in the system. It cooled the pipe down. So that was pretty crazy. But this time when I manually put it in with the circuit tester with the switch relay, that switch relay has been working ever since. It goes on and off by itself and everything. But I didn't want it to go out on a Sunday, so I went ahead and bought an extra one anyways. I think it was like $140. I bought it extra just to have here. And all you do is you basically take one wire off at a time, put it on the other one, take another wire off and put it on the other one. But while you're doing that, make sure you have your system on off. All right, hope that gave you some little bit help and insight. Either way, I mean, I just do that. I know there's other professionals out there that could comment and have better insight to hire a professional. But this is for the people kind of with low budget, or it's a Sunday and hey, that looks just like my system. Maybe I can learn a little something. All right, take it easy. Bye. All right, I just want to show you also, that's the switch relay that I bought. It's the exact same thing. Honeywell switch relay. 1066 is actually what they called it, but it's a RA832A, but they called it 1066. Motor oil that I drip in the little motor in the 3 spots. This is another thing I wanted to show you. I have one extra on hand. This extra right here is the coupling for that. Remember I said don't stick your finger between the motor and the impeller? Well, this right here, you see there's little Allen screws on both sides. Little Allen screw, little Allen screw. One of these gets attached to the actual impeller, and then one of these gets attached to the motor, and they spin. It spins the impeller, the motor though. It's a 1/3 or 1/4 horsepower motor that spins the impeller, but you got to put these on with an Allen wrench. And it was pretty tight squeeze that I had here. Let me get some light again. It's a pretty light squeeze that I had here because this is where you had to sit to take the motor off. And it's kind of hard. You got to be kind of good at it, have flathead screwdriver, because there's that piece way in there. That's that coupling, and you have to take the motor off to get to that coupling. So you could take the screws off from here and here. I don't remember. I'm sorry. Let me straighten that out. I believe it was these I took off. I'm not sure if it was these or these. This one, the whole motor comes out. But I know with this impeller, how I put it back on is I actually had the motor off, the power off, and I used the Allen wrench through right here to get the coupling tight on right there. I put the coupling on the motor while it was off, and then I went ahead and I worked the coupling on with the screwdriver from here, and then tighten it with the screwdriver here. But don't dare stick your finger in there when the motor goes off. All right, thank you very much for watching. Okay, what I wanted to show you is that this, okay, my camera away, is my circuit tester that I use. It's the circuit alert circuit tester, and if you push this down, it goes on. See, it lights up. And normally, like if you just rub it on something, if you rub it, let me see if I can do it right here. Even with static electricity, it'll set it off. That's how it is. That's how sensitive it is. Even with static electricity, it'll set it off. And like I was saying, to figure out that my it wasn't my pump that wasn't working, is if you go to the wires. These are the wires if I follow back to my pump. And you see right now there's no power going to them at all. There's no power going to them, but on the rest of the box, the tester's going off. So that means that there's power right here, but at the current moment there's no power going to the pump wire. So that if that were be the case constantly, when the boiler's off right now, so that's why there's no power going to this. But I'm gonna go turn it on, this way you can see what happens when it goes on. Okay, while I'm waiting for the boiler to kick on, I raised the temperature. Like I said before, this right here is the master on and off. So if you see, there's power, 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 power. So you wouldn't play with any of those wires right now. You turn this off, no power, no power, no power, no power. That's because the master of it is turned off right now. The main is turned off right now. But I wouldn't even touch this unless I would actually follow this back and turn the circuit breaker off. But when you turn this back on, it goes ahead and there's power back to it right now. So I turned the temperature up, so I'm just waiting for the boiler to go on to show you that this right here is the line to the pump. So if this isn't going on, that means there's no power going to it, and this is the circuit that turns the pump on right here. Alright, let me go open the door, maybe get a little cooler in here, then it'll go on. Okay, so I made a layer out of myself. I went ahead to turn on the boiler higher, and the house is already 72 degrees in here, so it didn't kick on. But the one thing I wanted to show you was how these wires are on and live right here. If this relay was working, when this closes, when the switch relay closes, this light, the line right here to the water pump should go on. So if the relay closes, you know, and the boiler's on, this right here should also have power. But if I were to get power here, right here, I would actually go to the pump and test the power at the motor to see if the motor was working. And if I'm getting power at the motor, that means the motor, if I'm getting power there but the motor's not working, that means the motor's bad. If I'm not getting any power here, that means the switch relay is bad. Okay, well, either way, I just want to show you about just a little cheapy circuit tester and how it works. Like I said, I mean, if this is kind of for like immediate novice, not, you know, not I don't think a real novice should do this. But like if you're kind of a jack of all trades like me, you know, I've ran a lot of electrical wires in my house and everything. You know, of course, I am union, so you should always give the jobs to the union people first. Alright, either way, I wanted to show you about the switch relay, and if your motor's going bad, if your boiler's on, but if your furnace on, but your pump ain't working, that's one thing to look at. Alright, bye.